Hi, I'm Lauren Zielinski. I'm here to talk about my work in the Mara River, creating a monitoring and adaptive management framework for Kenya. The Mara River is located in eastern Africa in the countries of Kenya and Tanzania. As the only perennial river in the region, it supports great wildlife migrations and provides freshwater resources for humans. With a finite supply and an increasing demand, it is critical that the water flowing in the Mara is managed in a way that will protect natural ecosystems and provide for the basic needs of both humans and nature. In order to achieve this balance, it is important to know how much water needs to remain in the river throughout the year. To find this out, the Mau Mara Serengeti Sustainable Water Initiative, better known as MAMASE, completed an environmental flow assessment for the Mara River in 2016. An environmental flow assessment is a management tool that combines knowledge of the hydrological, ecological, and social conditions in a river to determine the amount of water required to sustain important ecological functions. For the Mara, project leaders also wanted to create a monitoring and adaptive management plan around these flow requirements to help ensure they would be properly implemented. I worked on this plan as part of my master's thesis while I was studying at UNESCO IAG, a partner of the MAMASE project. Before I began my master's, I spent 5 years in the western United States working on natural resources management plans and heading up a monitoring team for river restoration projects. The goal of our monitoring program was to determine both the ecological condition of a river as well as the effectiveness of different restoration projects. This seemed very similar to what needed to happen in the Mara, and I thought with my background in managing and monitoring rivers in the United States, it would be a great opportunity to take my experience from those projects and apply it to a different part of the world. For the monitoring and adaptive management plan for the Mara, I wanted to find a way to connect management objectives with on-the-ground monitoring activities and then use this data to inform future management decisions. To do this, I created a 3-component structure. The first component was the development of an objectives hierarchy, which is a way of breaking down high-level management objectives into smaller and smaller sub-objectives until measurable indicators can be determined. The next component was the creation of a monitoring plan. The indicators from the objectives hierarchy were used to structure the plan. For the Mara, a 3-step process was used. First, a basic desktop plan was created using existing information and the knowledge of river managers. Then, a pilot study was conducted to test out potential monitoring methods and the suitability of long-term monitoring sites. Based on the outcomes of the pilot study, a revised and more complete plan was developed. Last, adaptive management cycles were established. These cycles provide guidance to river managers on potential actions based on the evaluation of the monitoring data. Adaptive management is thought of as learning by doing and often occurs in a cyclical manner. For the Mara, this involves monitoring river conditions, evaluating monitoring data, and if necessary, a change in management actions. The outcomes of these changes are then monitored, at which point the process begins again. Since all major river basins in Kenya are required to implement environmental flows, I wanted to take what was learned in the Mara and create a framework to help other river managers develop a similar plan. I broke the process down into 3 main phases: foundation, creation, and implementation. The foundation phase includes conducting preliminary assessments and engaging with stakeholders. The creation phase follows the 3-component process used to create a monitoring and adaptive management plan. And the implementation phase is the application of this plan, along with periodic evaluations and adjustments as needed. Implementing flow recommendations can be a challenge for river managers, and often there isn't any guidance on what to do or even how to start. But by having a monitoring and adaptive management plan in place, river managers can start by monitoring the current conditions in the river, watching how these conditions change over time, and then using this information to make informed management decisions to help achieve their overall objectives. While this is the first draft of this framework, I feel it has great potential to be used in other river basins in Kenya. With some adjustments and customizations, I also believe this structure could help the implementation of environmental flows in the broader East Africa region and even around the world.